Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here today in case number 19-0894-PWD 19A. This is Preston County Public Service District number 1, their request for a rate increase for water service. Okay. I don't know how to adjust this, but please bear with me. I've been under the weather a little bit. My voice isn't up to par, so I'll just try to speak directly in here. Is that better? And I promise I don't have the coronavirus. So, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. We set this matter for hearing for several reasons. The first of which was there were numerous protests filed in the matter regarding the rate increase, and wanted to have a public comment hearing to provide you, the public, the opportunity to come up here and comment about the rate increase and also the water quality issues that were raised in numerous of the protests. Your comments are going to be taken down by the court reporter. They will go into the transcript. We'll need to read, review, and take into consideration when I have to issue my decision in this matter. Other reasons, we are having an evidentiary hearing because to allow the district as well as staff to put on the record their support for the rate increase, to also address these water quality issues that have been complained of, and I believe also provide some information regarding what I believe is the underlying issue for the water quality, and that is this dam project that's been going on for quite some time. So, with that said, I'll go ahead and take appearance of the parties. Before we begin, is the district present?
Jim Kelch, I'm the attorney for Preston County Public Service District number 1. I'm with the law firm of Bowles Rice in Charleston, West Virginia. I have with me today the district's accountant, Michael Griffith, CPA, and the district's engineer, Richard Gaines, PE.
Thank you very much. Commission staff.
Lucas Head on behalf of the Public Service Commission, and I have with me Charles Johnson with the Utilities Division and Jim Ellers, PE with the Engineering Division.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll begin with the public comment portion of the hearing. In doing public comment, whoever would like to speak will need to come up to the podium here and state your name for the record, and then you can provide your comment regarding the rate increase, water quality issues, whatever it is you'd like to comment on. Please speak clearly. Like I said, the court reporter is taking down what you're saying. And it is a public comment session, not a question and answer session. I probably couldn't answer your questions at this point anyway. With that said, we'll go ahead and get started. Who would like to come up and make comment? Come on up, sir.
Yes, my name's Harry Shrout, S-H-R-O-U-T.
Thank you.
And the complaints I have is, one to start with was the scheduling of this meeting at time. I feel that the time should have been scheduled for 9 to 5 working class people. We could have more voices in this. They don't get a voice to say, start with. And I think for another scheduled meeting should be made to address that problem. Second of all, as you already stated, back in September, they already had a 25% increase on the water bills, which it raised the minimum from, I got some bills here from, like, I think it was before the rate was around $32 per month for 3,000 gallons. The bill jacked up to around minimum bill almost to $53 a month. I don't know how that 25% should only been around $6 to $7, but yet it jumped more than that 25%. The second part is as was addressed, is the water quality is poor, very poor. We just got a notification here of where high levels, I can't pronounce the names, I'm sure you already know what it is. And it's like 11.7 above the standard, what it should be. And this is not the only one. Seemed like for about a year we have gotten about 3 or 4 notices of poor standards with the water, different levels of contaminations or whatever chemicals. So apparently someone does not know what they're doing up there for the treating the water to begin with. Next is the PSD number 1 is already, before any the 25% increase, already had one of the highest rates for water districts there. The next is with this rate 50% increase, which actually would total almost 75% in 1 year. It's going to be a hardship for retired people and people in the budgets there. And lastly is what you were stating was people are having a lot of problems with the water quality, skin irritations, bad looking water that is muddy, and they say it's safe to drink. I would like for them to take some of that bad looking water and drink it themselves to see. And no one is going to drink water that's muddy and contaminants in it that's undrinkable and clean, just safe to drink. I just cannot see that. And thank you for your time, and that's all for mine.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Jean Linton.
I'm sorry, could you state that again, ma'am?
Am I close enough to the...
That's good there. I think that's better.
Okay, my name is Jean Linton. I live at 5741 Independence Road. Thank you. And this is, as you can all see, and I'd like to say one thing. I don't think PSD1 is the total blame for all this mess. Do we have a representative from the EPA here? No.
No, there's not.
I think that's a lot of the problem with getting the pond rebuilt. When you deal with the government, you've got lots of problems. You've got more than you can shake a stick at. Believe you me, I had to fight the IRS for 6 months, and I had to hire a lawyer to prove my taxes were done right. So you know what you're doing when you become involved with the government. They rule with an iron fist, and you either do it their way or you don't do it. So, but this is a sample of the water. I said last summer we had a drought and we didn't have water, so I had the water hauled for the horse. I didn't even make the horse drink this. Now this is terrible. Now this came out of my water filter yesterday. The person's here that removed it, so I have a witness to say that this come out. I'd like to change this every 2 or 3 days, but I can't afford it. And when I attended the meeting, when was the last meeting we were up in the commissioner's offices?
No,
Was it last summer? Who can recall that? I don't remember the day, but we come up here, and I said at the time, I thought that they were biting off more than we could pay for. And I still feel the same way. There was a lot of things done that you just don't know what you get into. Plus, we've had a drought, which is not PSD1's fault. But I did not recall them ever telling us that they were going to get water from impoundment 6, which I don't call it impoundment 6, I call it the sludge pond. And that's the reason that we have water like this. And I don't know why we would do anything that would fix this. Now this is filtered and it still comes through. I can't even filter it. But I had trouble with my spigots filling up. I didn't have any water one day, and I said, well, what goes on? I called the water company. Well, they didn't know, and I didn't either, so I had to call a plumber. And they undid the spigot, and it was full of stuff that the water wouldn't come out. So this is the reason I have a filter system. But this filter system won't even take all the stuff out of it. And I thank you all for your time. and I thank you. But, you know, they did not tell us, and I can't remember who all was there at the meeting. I hope somebody is here that was there. That they did not tell us. They told us they were going to buy water from Masontown and Kingwood, not the pond. So probably doing the best they can with what they got, but this is what you get. Thank you very much, and thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Carolyn Hankey, and I live at 694 Q Road. We are less than probably 1,000 feet from the treatment plant. We also have a filtering system in our house, and we're changing those $39 filters at less than a month, every month, and it looks that bad. Also, with where they're taking that water out of, if you can believe it, there's about 9 of us that have been treated for cancer in the area in a very small perimeter from that treatment plant. And that can be verified. We definitely need something done in our area over there because we do deserve to have clean water. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Carrie Ray, and I am here today because my family deserves better. It is no secret that West Virginia suffers with a failing infrastructure. It is difficult to find gainful employment. We are in the midst of an opioid epidemic. Our schools are subpar, our roads are deplorable, and we also find ourselves right in the middle of a national water crisis. More than half of West Virginia counties rank among the worst in the nation for federal laws protecting the quality of drinking water in the U.S. Rural community water systems, not unlike our own, are among the top offenders because they do not have the funding, resources, and/or personnel training available to them to treat the complicated water conditions. We have to raise awareness. In the year 2020, in the United States, this should not be an issue. Clean water is vital to our health, not only sustaining life, but safe, clean drinking water defines civilization. On a more personal note, PSD number 1 customers are faced with a seriously delayed dam construction project, a lot of finger pointing, a mishandled public service district, and an enormous pending rate increase that puts all these factors at the mercy of the paying customer when none of us are at fault. I have so many questions. Why wasn't there more testing done on our current water source and financial determinations taken into consideration in regard to the high cost of treating it effectively? I don't know much about the process, but shouldn't that have been step 1? Why are we, the customers, charged with footing the bill for the oversight and construction delays? Why aren't our voices being heard? And how can we believe when this dam project is completed that everything will be better when many of us have had problems dating back to before the switch? I beg of you to take all of this under consideration and help us. Help us find additional resources to drive down the rising costs of our unsightly and questionably safe drinking water. Help us to make the changes needed to assure us that the water will be consistently safe and aesthetically pleasing. Help us to train the existing employees and members of the board and remove any that may be standing in the way of our goals. Help us so kids, just like mine, can grow up safe and happy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Megan Goodrich. I live at 409 Sunnybrook Road in Reedsville.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Oh, sorry, Goodrich, Goodrich.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So, throughout this, we've had people discussing that, with the rate increase, it has a lot of hardships on everyone, especially retired people that are on a fixed income. But something that we haven't really touched on yet is the damage that the water does to our systems, our plumbing, our water heaters, anything this water touches is very corrosive too. And we've heard, the PSD say, well, it's biologically safe. And, with their testing, they're saying that's true, but where does that leave the other sediments that is contained in this water that can't be treated or filtered out because they do not have the process available to treat out that sediment? So what they're asking for a bailout for them, but where is our bailout for our water heaters that are not working, our plumbing that needs replaced, any other fixture in our home, even pipes going up for cooking, pipes being used for irrigation, for greenhouses, for gardens, for everything. This stuff touches everything. And even though it's supposedly biologically safe, the sediment in it is damaging everything. So we hear that you want your bailout, but we want ours too for our property, things that have been damaged by this. And the other thing is, this didn't just happen overnight. The USDA didn't one day decide, okay, well, we're shutting down this dam, we're pulling everything out now. You had time to come up with a plan. And we hear that you did certain things, but, nothing worked out. Well, that's not good enough. More needed to be done. Instead of just using this, which I can see that you thought, well, the dam will be done in 6 months, we'll just do this for the meantime. But, surprise, surprise, government project, it ends up pulling out for 2 years, 3 years, however long this is going to take. And you're not getting away with it now. So basically, the rate increase I don't think is justified because we have a lot more money coming out for things that the water has damaged. Not only might be to our health, but our property, and that needs to be taken under consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kenny Nicholson. I got a couple questions. I've been going to the board meetings over to water plant pretty regular. This one because my wife had surgery. And 4 or 5 meetings ago, they had their lawyer there, Mr. Proudfoot, I believe was his name. He was supposed to check on why we wasn't getting some help from them, the construction people, because they was so far behind. That is not the people's fault that's on this water system that they're running behind. He was supposed to check to see if most construction companies, if they're behind, are penalized. I don't think they penalized. I do believe they said they give them maybe $1,000 to help with the cost. And the second thing is, I was told, of course, the new dam's not open yet. It's supposed to be finished the middle of the month or the end of the month, that the price for treating the water would go way down. If that's the case, why are we going for more raise again to people? There's a lot of people that's on this system, 1,600 or so, that's on fixed income. Well, I am, and I know several people, just because they go up, I don't get no raise in mine. So, I mean, we need some answers somewhere, and we're just not getting them from nobody. And I don't think it's right that you should penalize the people for them construction companies being behind on their work and us having to pay the extra money to treat that water out of that garbage dump pond over there, which we shouldn't even be using from. I hope that the commission looks this over and thinks about what they're doing before they tack another raise on the people, because a lot of people just can't afford it. I know a lady that uses 900 gallons a month, and she pays the same as somebody uses the full amount, which to me is not right, because she gets $600 some a month. That's pretty tight on her. But I just hope that the Public Service Commission will review this and take all this into consideration. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
My name's William Jones. I live in Arthurdale. I've been there about 7 years. In that 7 years, I've received 17 different citations saying that they've missed their specs and been out in cancer-causing agents. I live across the street from the pond. I can smell the water outside as well as inside. The pond was used for a waste dump for Sterling Faucet for many years, and it was used for the garbage dump that's across the street on Arthur Road. That water's not good water. It never has been. It was on private property for many years, and what they did to it, nobody knows. The rate increase, they wanted 40-some% originally, and they give them 20-some. That, you know, there's 2 of us in the household. My bill's $35 a month, maybe a little bit more. My parents live in Lawn County. They're a 2-family household. They pay less than what we do. There's no reason to have that increase. They're not showing any difference. The water still stinks, it's still brown. We still get these citations every month. 2 a month, almost. Saying that it was, you know, out of spec. It still comes in brown. I've had to put a $2,000 water system in out of my pocket just to get rid of the smell so I can take a shower. I have a family of dogs and cats. I can't let them drink it. I have to buy bottled water because the cancer-causing agents that are in your water. Now, I know all the representatives are here. I don't see anybody from the Public Service District here to say anything. The dam should have been done years ago, and they keep putting it off, saying, oh, the weather. Well, we've built a lot of things with the weather. That's not something to stop anybody. It's an excuse. They've had grants in the past. Where do those grants go? No, there's no record of it. They won't release them to nobody. They won't show them to nobody. You go to their meetings during the day, in the middle of the week, so nobody can come to them. They shuffle you out quickly so they can continue with their meeting. The water isn't getting any better. We had a scare there a few months ago saying that there may be species in the water from the ponds. Well, they didn't tell anybody. It got out on social media, and they were trucking water to the school so the students didn't have to drink that water because the schools connect to that water as well. But they didn't tell anybody else that problem. Now, the Public Service District goes on social media and mocks us for doing our own testing and laughs at us because they were in spec during that one test. Well, I've had it tested numerous times, and I have the reports showing that it was out of spec for numerous things. The manganese is through the roof. That's not good for anybody. And I don't think the rate increase to increase it again, to have another pickup for them to ride around the community in, and, you know, whatever they do in that pickup is beyond me because they don't stop, they don't flush lines, they don't check meters, and they're not helping the situation. The people there are not helping anyone. And something needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Perkins. I live at 86 Fleetwood Drive. My story with this is that over the last couple of years, I've had some hardships in my family, and I just want to talk real quick about that just so that you understand. My husband had a massive stroke, and he is, having problems with that, and I'm his caregiver now. And during this time, I also was diagnosed with breast cancer. I want you to think about this. I'm a person that already has some skin issues with eczema. Imagine if it's your mother, your daughter, your sister, yourself. Men get breast cancer as well. Imagine having to worry about standing under your shower. What is that doing to my incisions? What is this doing to my skin? I've already got enough issues dealing with my medical problems. This water burns, it stings, it makes you itch. It stinks. I remember hearing a mother tell me that she cried that night, the night before, because she wanted to give her child a bath, but it stunk so bad that she had to stand there and argue with her child about, no, you can't get a bath tonight because the water's too stinky. This is not a third world country, guys. We don't have to stand for this. Our costs have increased. I talked about my husband having a stroke. The reason I mention that is now he's handicapped. I have to go to this place to get water to fill jugs. I do it by myself. I have a 75-year-old mother Do you think she needs to be carrying water upstairs? And it's not even just for yourself, it's for your pets. You won't even give your animal this water. The cost of our hot water tanks, they're mentioned. They're rusting, they're dying. Everything that this water touches causes erosion, corrosion. It's hard to get off. It stains everything. You know, you decide one day, oh, it's today a day I can make ice cubes out of my spigot water, or no, today I have to get the big jug and fill my tray. Something has to give. I mentioned the breast cancer earlier because I continue to receive reports that this water is high in levels that can cause cancer over years. Let's see, if you've lived here for 20 years and you drink a gallon of water a day, is that high enough of a risk? Who knows? These are what we need people to deal with. We don't need another rate increase. We're running up and down the road carrying bottled waters. You know, the customer should not have to deal with this. We should not have another cost with this stinking water. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Ralph Stroud, 3144 McKinney Cave Road. I gotta say one thing, or two, or three, or four, okay? Last week, I got a letter that November, December, the water was way out of compliance. How's come it takes 3 damn months for them to send a letter to tell you that the damn water's no good? I've been getting about 3 or 4 of them in the last year or so, okay? I want to know, the people up there treating that water, what kind of a damned education do they got? Because evidently they don't know shit from apple butter about what they're doing. And I think that the state auditors should come in there and audit their books and see what they're doing with the damn money to start with. Because I think there's a lot of fingers in the cookie jar that shouldn't be in the cookie jar. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Bourne, B-O-R-N. Zen Chapel Road, upper end of Kingwood Pike. And I have an associate degree in forestry and natural resources, bachelor's degree in agriculture sciences, a master's degree, I'm talking sideways, huh? All right. Associate degree in forestry, bachelor's degree in ag sciences, master's degree in secondary education, and a secondary degree in biology and sciences. So, second thing is my farm, 135 acres, is in the upper watershed above number 1 dam. And the quality of that water is good enough for a trout stream. I make that comment because, in my opinion, when they first began to talk about doing this renovation project, it seems that the logical thing to have done would have been to use the water that they pumped from above the dam over the dam and dumped it back into Decker Street to get rid of it. At the same time, they already had their existing gravity flow line from number 1 dam site, which went to the water plant. So the contractors pumped water constantly to get rid of it, and they could have been getting it down at the plant. The comments about the Arthurdale site, I grew up here, I'm 69 years old, and my dad worked for J.W. Ruby. They had chicken houses, turkey houses in the drainage for the Arthurdale site.
A strip mining company had strip mined a lot of that drainage. And then later on, it was used as a garbage dump site for trash that was trucked in from Philadelphia and New York. Sometime later, EPA or somebody insisted it had to be cleaned up. But at that point in time, which had been probably the late 70s and early 80s, and that they were dumping this trash into an abandoned strip mine site, chances are it was not a lined landfill. So there you've got the potential for leachate to be all up through that watershed. Also, talking to a couple people here today that worked for Sterling Faucet at the original brass plant, they also used that as a dump site for millings and so on from the factory. So you've got metal probably also in that drainage area. So it wasn't a good decision to use that as a source of water under any condition, in my opinion. My sympathies go out to the people that got the Arthurdale water. I didn't get the Arthurdale water because we're getting our water on the upper end of PSD1 from Clinton District in Montague County. But I've seen a lot of the newspaper articles and know people that are trying to use this bad water. And I wouldn't have used it if I had to. And I generally don't buy bottled water, but I would have. I think that the people that were making decisions were negligent in their management making process. It seems like a common sense thing that they should have had the clean water from the upper end of Deckers Creek and used it. There's even been comments that people that would fish at the Arthurdale site were told, don't eat fish. So that should be a tip-off also. Another person spoke about the notifications about water quality. Tests done in November and December, and the letter didn't come out, was dated March 3rd. So that would be a concern. I'm probably going to kind of let go at that, but there's definitely, some people want to blame the contractor, but the weather was against them. But I think the biggest tragedy here is that somebody did not utilize the clean water at the number one site. They didn't even have to pump it to get it to the water company because the contractors were pumping it over the dam to get rid of it. I would share my paperwork with whoever wants it. Did that go to your table?
I'll take a look at it.
It's also listed attached.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Amber Urban. We live at 603 Seattle in Arthurdale.
Turn your microphone. Thank you.
Just let me start by saying that just this week, the gravity of what's going on with our water has really resonated with me. I give you just a little info. I went to put in a Sam's order the other night. And when I did, one of the things that I typically order, of course, is a case of water. Because
Let me stop you just one second. Would everyone please turn off your mobile devices or put them on silent?
that very well may be mine.
And that may be yours, okay?
I'm sorry.
Well, we'll let that one go.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, so I go to put in a Sam's order, and I would say due to concerns and people stocking up for potential coronavirus, one of the things that Sam's was out of was bottled water. I can't begin to tell you the fear that went through me at that point of time when I realized that what if my family doesn't have bottled water? Because I surely don't believe that the water that we are drinking or that we have available to drink to us in our home, we don't drink it, is safe. And I'll tell you, by the end of the day yesterday, there are now 5 cases of water at my house because when I found it, I went for it. I don't know if that's not or not.
Okay.
It's a real concern. I can just tell you that, when I really started to notice this and began to question the quality of our water, was when I could turn on my shower in the morning and go to step in, and I kid you not, it smelled like the Arthurdale Pond. And I've lived in Arthurdale all my life, which is impoundment number 6. And it has a smell. And when you step into the shower in the morning and you come out wondering if you smell like a pond or feeling like you could have probably just went down and stepped into it and been as clean as you are now, that's a problem. And we continued to hear with the smell, I didn't have as much issues with discoloration. I live on top of the hill. I don't know what the difference is. I've only noticed that if they have flushed up there that we have issues with discoloration. But the smell is unreal. When my kids go to brush their teeth and they're like, our water stinks, and pretty much refuse to use it, again, we have a problem. But yet we're being told it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe to drink. And I'm sorry, when people see water that is brown, discolored, or smells, they're not going to buy that. We don't buy that. And I personally believe that one of our basic human rights is safe and clean drinking water. This should not be, I feel frustrated often because this shouldn't be something that I spend my time on. I have 3 children, a husband, a home, a job, and spending my time fighting about water should be the last of my worries. And I assure you that in my household right now, it truly should be the last of my worries. I've gotten a lot of messages, lots and lots of messages, people that are frustrated and who have had not only the expense of bottled water and, as been mentioned before, appliances and water heaters. We recently put in a whole house humidifier, and I'm just waiting. At what point does it stop working because the water has caused an issue with it? It also concerned me that I was putting that water into my home like that because prior to that, we were using bottled water for all the humidifiers in our home. So I've had all these messages about the discolored water, it's ruining clothes, it's ruining sheets. It's just the expense above and beyond our water bill, which is ridiculous for water that we can't use to drink. It's a crime, honestly. I'm not sure how some people go to bed at night knowing that the people in this community are paying a ridiculous amount of water for water that they can't and won't drink, for water that I can tell you on more than one occasion I've urged my child to take a shower because I don't want them sitting in that stuff, and I'd rather their body not absorb any more of it than it absolutely has to. I go to clean and I look at my shower heads and there's this black buildup on my shower heads and on my faucet in my kitchen. And on a regular basis, I ask my husband to take the piece off of the faucet and that there's sediment, in the filter on the faucet, and then I have to clean the outside of the faucet, which has all that black buildup on it. Daily, I clean my dog's water bowl and I wash it out because it has a pinkish brown film in it, just like my shower gets. And before anybody asks, my dog is 16 years old, and that is the one and only reason that she drinks that water. The only reason. I've taken showers on many, many occasions where I get out and, like others have said, I itch, and I actually have a rash. I can't even. So here we are, continuing with the cost of the water, the appliances, all the things that have been ruined by this water, and we continue to hear from PSD number 1, trust us. I've seen that in some Facebook posts, trust us. It's really hard to trust them. It's very hard to trust them. Not only because what we see and what they say don't add up. There's other concerns that that I've heard. And a lot of people would like to attend a board meeting with the PSD number one, and they've been asked to move their board meetings to a time that would be good for the working class. You know, people don't have to take off work to be there, and they won't do it, and they've been asked on more than one occasion. We'd love to go to the board meetings and ask them the questions, the things that concern us. You know, and I can give you a few of those examples. I'd like to go to a board meeting and ask them, number one, why won't you compromise on the time of your board meetings? You know, help us out here a little bit. Give us a reason to trust you. You know, there's some other things that, and I can't speak that they're the truth on any of them, but I can say I've had a lot of people come to me with concern about essentially things like, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to put this out here. You know, the board member that has multiple employees, or at least one, if not two, working for them. You know, I've had people come to me and say, you know, hey, we heard so-and-so at the board office that is, you know, you got this pay raise, and we don't know if he's actually qualified, or at the water treatment plant. We don't know if he's actually qualified for that position. I don't know. I really don't. But these are the things that are coming down. And I'll be honest, I'll put this out here too. Why not? One of the other things that somebody came to me and said is, hey, do you know that so-and-so, such and such board member is, you know, the CPA for him is the same CPA for the PSD number one. Do I know if that's true? Absolutely not. But does it put doubt in my head? It absolutely does. And how can we trust a board when these things are floating around? And this is just not me. There's lots of people out there who have these concerns. So, you know, work with us a little bit. If you want us to trust us, or trust you, work with us. You know, what this comes down to is not only is this not, you know, people have a fear of the water, a fear of what it may be bringing down the line for us health-wise. You know, I you know, like the lady earlier, you know, my grandmother had breast cancer. Could that have been it? We don't know. Exposure over time, we don't know. So I feel like there's a lot of cost. The people at PSD number one, the customers of PSD number one, have a lot of cost from this, and it's the extra cost that they're putting out to have safe drinking water, that they're putting out to replace appliances. But at this time, and I can say for me personally, you know, PSD number one and things like this is costing me time with my family. This is time I don't ever get back. The time that I put into communicating with other people and hearing concerns is time that I'm giving up. It's time away from my family. It's costing me money personally. I right now should be at work, but I'm not. I'm contracted. Nobody gives me paid time off. If I'm not there, I don't get paid for it. And the costs just continue to build. So it's not, everybody here is seeing the cost of this in and above the actual water bill. One of the other things I believe that we were told by PSD number one was that, you know, they thought this was probably a temporary water increase. And I'll be honest, I highly doubt they ever thought it was temporary. I can't help but think that this has probably been in the plans the whole time, and they were just trying to calm the storm. So I'd like, you know, just ask you all to take that into consideration. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
My name is Robert Baylor, and I just have a couple questions I'd like for somebody representing PSD number one to answer. When was the dam supposed to be completed? Can somebody tell me?
Well, they're not here to answer questions during the public comment period, but you're welcome to stick around during the evidentiary hearing, which they are going to provide testimony regarding probably everything you asked.
I guess my statement is, I know it was supposed to have been completed a while back, and I worked a few construction jobs, and I understand if you're doing construction work, you have a completion date. And if the date is not done by the time the completion date is, you're fined so much a day for each day you're over that. I'm just wondering why, if they're so far behind on the construction, why are they not responsible for the extra cost that's costing PSD number 1 instead of the customers? Say, let them pay the expense instead of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Bruce Workman, and I live on Zen Chapel Road, about 3/4 of a mile from where the dam is being built. We've talked about possible carcinogens in the water. People have talked about their equipment and their showers, their water heaters, possibly needing replaced. This is about cost. I'm not sure where the blame is to go. We contacted the Montague Conservation. Let me get this right. Montague Conservation District, which I believe helped put this dam project together, along with the state. I don't know who oversaw the contract for this. And I've heard that it was 2 months in delay because of weather. Well, they worked, I believe, over a year, almost round the clock, trying to get this dam together. There was no way that contractor was ever going to finish that dam in the right amount of time. In my opinion, I'm not sure who gave that contract to them. But yeah, we have to pay for that. I'm not sure who made the water decision to go to the ponds there that almost everyone in the district knew was bad water. But yet we have to pay the cost for that. I'm not sure how the dam took so long. I'm pretty sure that the road to Zen Chapel, the Zen Chapel Road itself, is pretty much destroyed in places because of the heavy machinery and trucks that run that road. No one's going to pay for that, I know that. Even though when we asked, they said that the contractor has that responsibility. That's not going to be done. That's going to be paid by the state whenever the state gets to it, and that's going to come out of our taxes. So we're going to pay for that again. I don't know where the responsibility lies, but I know it's not with these people here to pay for things that never should have happened in the first place. And I hope you don't do that to us. From the state level all the way down to a local level, problems have occurred. And it's not our fault. That's why we're asking for not a rate increase. There's no reason for that. We paid enough, and we're paying enough with the chemicals that were put in that water, our long-term medical expenses that may occur, the equipment in our houses that are going to, my dad's water heater stopped working yesterday. It's not because it was old. It was because we've gone through 3 filters in the last 6 to 8 months that this wonderful woman that brought to you showed you today. We shouldn't have to pay for this cost. I don't know where you're going to get the money, of course. I know you're going to want to pay it and get it from somewhere. But we weren't responsible for this mess. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Bob Blackner. I live at 44 Sunset Drive in Reedsville. What I want to talk about is the increases mainly. I felt this was not well planned and looked at to the extent for interruptions and whatever. But I was curious of the 26.12% emergency increase that was made. I think my understanding is that will come off when we get over to using the water in the new dam. But all these increases, I feel, and I figure all these others probably feel, they would like to see a breakdown of costs and where all this increase is actually going to, what it's needed for. I'd love to see that. So, and that's about all I got. And just like, I think being a customer, we should know what we're having to pay for, although I feel like the gentleman before me that the contractor and whatever, they've got control, we have no control, yet we pay. So thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to note to everyone that all the filings, or I believe all the filings and commission staff's recommendation, their financial review, and what they have submitted in this case is available online through the commission's website. There's a place on there on the, if you're looking at it on the left-hand side, where you can enter the case number and go in and look at all the filings and all the financials and everything that's been filed and then also submitted by the district and staff. The reports that were done regarding staff's investigation, engineering investigation, financial audit. Again, I'll tell you right now, the case number to enter is 19-0894. And if you need to get that again after the hearing, you can grab one of the commission staff. They can give it to you or write it down for you. So just wanted to let you know that. Go ahead, sir.
My name is John Helms. I live on Route 92. And my first comment is unacceptable that a dam be 2 years behind schedule. I'm sure we got state and federal officials out there that we pay their taxes to let this happen. And we've been getting bad water for at least 3 years now. And my water bill right now is $46.16, and I know I pay at least $30 more to go to Walmart and buy drinking water. And it seemed to me like there was other sources available, like PSD2, that we could have run a water line, then I'd be glad to pay $46.16 for it, to have good water instead of having dirt in room clothes, stopping up showers, whatever it may be. Now, my big question is, we know that we're not going to have water for 3 or 4 more months. What are we going to do about our bad water? Is we still going to keep our bad water and pay whatever, $46.60 or $67, which they want to raise the water? Has anybody got any ideas what we're going to do, or are we just going to have the same old water? And that's what I'd like to know, what we're going to have. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello, gentlemen. I live on Q Road in Arthurdale. My name's Frank Hankey. We're all talking about a rate increase that we've already had one, and now you want another one. So let's kind of just, I've listened to everybody here, and we get a rate increase. So it'd be so many percent, but it seems like it's all doubled. In the bill, it's doubled. What are we getting out of that increase? That's a question. What do we get? So we'll get on this line and we'll check out this. He just gave us the information, what that's used for and everything. But I'm here just to say another voice of all these people of what we've experienced. That lady with the water filter. I didn't think to bring mine. I could have had a box of those. They say change it every 6 months. I don't think I'd get water out in 6 months. I have mine, they're visible. And at first when I bought it, I had the little paper filter. Well, you know what that is. That's useless. So then I bought the better filter. Well, about a month, if you're lucky, it's brown. Brown. Not tan, not anything. I mean dark brown. When you change the filter, sediment comes out the bottom of it. It's crazy. I put a charcoal filter in. Believe it or not, they turn brown too. And that's a whole house system. Then it goes to your coffee maker. A charcoal filter comes out brown. So you're drinking this water, that's a question. In a rate increase, I don't know, I guess, because I'm older, rate increases and raises were on merit and performance. I don't see this justified. I live a stone's throw from that plant, so I thought I would have probably the best water in the world because I get it first. You know, I go, oh, what happens on down the line could be anything. Chlorine smell. Everybody that visits, they turn on the tap and they go, do you have soft water treatment? You got too much stuff in your water. I go, no, it comes out of the plant. It's right down the road. The chlorine smell is horrible. To verify, yes, the dog bowl. What's the dog bowl look like? Brown sediment on the bottom of it. Poor dog. I don't drink it. Bottled water, have to buy that. I flush all the appliances. I flush hot water tanks. I flush everything. What comes out of them? There's a brown sediment. I lived other places in the country before. Did I get sediment? Yes. Yes, you get it. I guess that's what happens, you know. You get that. Not as bad as what I get here. You can turn the water on, you get a little bit of sediment out the bottom of it, probably for about, say, 30 seconds at the most. You can run this for a long time and get sediment out the bottom, and that's more than, you know, once a month. You can get it. So my point is coming up here was, so did you hear that it's not just that lady, it's not just that guy, it's other people, poor people who can't take off work because I'm retired, so I could be here today, or I wouldn't have been here. I had to work to pay for the appliances that are damaged and the water I got to buy to drink that I hope is healthier than what I'm getting. But a rate increase. If you can justify to us, to me, what I'm getting in a rate increase, if I'm going to get better water, I'm going to say yes. But I've already paid for it once. How many times do I got to pay for it? If I paid for it once, okay. But now I'm going to pay for it again? I really don't think that's justified. So my point is to ask you, Joan, to really think what we, the consumer, are getting for another rate increase. Maybe the dam is going to be built that's going to give us better water. I'm hearing all kinds of crazy things. And then the letters that we get. Social media is on there. Answers are, you know, you can see it. I mean, somebody trips on going down the sidewalk and somebody knows about it an hour later and said they spilled their groceries. But what do we get? We get a letter months later that the water didn't meet standards. Why isn't that posted the day it doesn't meet the standard? Why isn't it posted so we can say, whoa, we don't want to drink this today. We don't want to shower in it today. You know, people got itchy skin, all this stuff. You know, it's probably from water. We can't, I mean, I'm not an authority to say that or not. I'm not a doctor or anybody to know that. But, questions. Why can't it be posted sooner, right away? It didn't meet standards today. How often is it tested? I don't know. I've been tempted now that I'm retired to go down there and sit at the water company and see what they do down there all day. Do they really work at it? What are they doing? But let's get a letter out. Don't get letters. Let's post it on social media. Let's announce it on television, on the radio. I mean, everybody watches television. Let's get it on the radio. Social media is this crazy thing now. Let's do it. Let it know that their water doesn't meet standard, not a month later. Oh, your water didn't meet it in November, November, December? When we find out, March? I think that's a little late, you know. So if you're going to get a rate increase and you want a rate increase, let's think about what we're really getting. I don't think we're getting what we paid for in the first time. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mike Summers. I live on the Zen Chapel Road, close to the dam project also. And really, there's nothing more to say than what's already been said. We received these letters. You know, what should I do? You don't need an alternative source of water. But if you have a health issue, contact your doctor. What does this mean? This isn't an immediate risk. If it was, you'd have been notified immediately. But some people drinking this could have liver problems. It may also increase the risk of cancer. So we're finding out things that have been said months after the fact, multiple times. This water is not fit. I've got a picture here of a humidifier that we use in our bedroom to try to maintain a decent level. And to see what this looks like coming out, discharging what you're breathing, this is pretty gross. Even if the water treatment plant is able to take care of things, we're dealing with an infrastructure that has numerous problems also, where there's numerous water breaks. Every time this happens, the quality of water deteriorates again while this is being taken care of. I don't know how old the actual system is, piping the water to various locations, but there's many issues with that also. But going back to these issues that we're being told of months after the fact, how many problems are we really being exposed to that we don't know? You know, there was years ago an old movie, Aaron Brockovich. Many cover-ups, many questionable things going on. How are we to know we're not being put in the same exact situation that we've got these things that we're being exposed to right at this present time, that maybe we need to have some representation for ourselves and get to the bottom of this. And what makes it really personal to me right now is, you know, we've discussed health issues, people's issues, what our pets are exposed to. Over the last couple of days, we've had one of our pets, a cat, that has severe health issues. Went to the vet yesterday. Had to have blood work, x-rays done, and she is now scheduled next week to have cancerous breast tissue removed. What is the issue? Where does this come from? Can somebody, I know you're not here to answer questions, but can somebody say that, no, this safe water was not the problem? I think we've got a lot of issues here that we're not being given the answers to that I think we all deserve, everybody here. My name is Mike Summers. I think I said that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The increase, like I said, the 25% increase that they got back in September is supposed to be for delays and cost overruns for this. Now they're wanting another 50% increase. And like I said before, the 25% increase, somehow that don't add up. The figures do not all add up. I'm paying, there should only be like $6 more. I'm paying $10 to $12 more for it. So the figures do not add up. And this 50% increase, they talk about it's supposed to be whenever the dam gets so full that it will drop maybe 1% or so over a period of 24 months. Then after a certain that period, it'll drop maybe another percent. You're still talking about giving them over 70% increase over 1 year period, for 1 year period. For water, that dam, like I said, is so contaminated, it should have never been done. With PCBs and everything is proved of this hauled in from out of states, Baltimore, New York City, all. They was paying trash companies dollars to haul all this trash in for a landfill up here. So you know what's got to be in it, worse than what is part of the reported. So the EPA is at fault for that. And the people of the dam for not notifying, they know this. They should have notified that, because everybody's knowledge. So, and you're talking, it's going to be over a 70% increase forever for water that is not going to be treatable. It will not be, no matter what they say, it's not going to be treatable for contaminants and PCBs and all the other cancer-causing agents in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Blake. Since 1981, my wife Denise and I have resided at 50 Valley Street in the town of Reedsville. So we are PSD1 customers and have been for a long, long time. Prior to that, I lived with my parents who were initial customers on the system when it was built back in the 70s. I find it frustrating, just like my neighbors and people that I don't know and have never met here today, that we keep hearing about fear. We keep hearing some of what I would term innuendo. We keep hearing a lot about the fairness or unfairness of certain things when it comes to the quality of the water, the safety of the water, the amount we're being charged for said safety. I'm not here to speak about the veracity of the people that are treating the water. I believe our public service district was put in a position, and I think that the Public Service Commission CPA could back this up, where a perfectly functional PSD was turned upside down financially by having a project thrust on them. And I find it very egregious that the contractors apparently bear no real responsibility to pay for overages, changes, mismanagement, or damage. The biggest frustration for me is I think that many folks here don't understand that a rate ruling is just that. And while you may take into account public comment, that public comment is not what's going to make the decision. What's going to make the decision is the numbers. And we all know that at heart. Those of us who don't want to admit it and those of us who do. Now we stand before the Public Service Commission and the public as residents of a community, and what public service is being performed. And I ask that in all good candor, with nothing personal against any of you folks. What public service is being performed when we're nowhere within the bounds of Public Service District 1 having this public comment meeting? I'm not allowed to ask questions. I'll conjecture. Maybe you all wanted clean water with your lunch, since this is an afternoon meeting. I don't know. But I think if the folks here are to be truly served, then let's put public service back in the Public Service District. Let's put public service back in the Public Service Commission. Let's be responsible to the public and honest with the public. I appreciate the efforts of the folks that are trying to fix the problems. I appreciate every one of my friends and neighbors here who are suffering through this. And I will say I'm in 100% agreement with every anecdotal story that you've heard spoken here today. Whether it's the nice lady who literally had to become a plumber to come here and show you physical evidence. Well, that physical evidence of a plugged up filter isn't going to make a difference in the rate increase. But I don't think you reward either the Public Service District or the contractors by putting this on the backs of the folks who, just like the company that bottles this water, when I buy this off the local grocery shelf to drink as a replacement, there's an implicit understanding that I'm accepting this water from them and they're going to give me something that's fit to drink, and it's not going to poison me or harm me. If it does, I have legal recourse. What recourse do these folks have? What recourse as a customer do I have when really all we get are excuses or ignored or outright lied to at times? I appreciate the Public Service Commission's efforts in this, but I would like you to do a little soul searching, each one of you at the table here today. What would you do if you lived at 50 Valley Street in my home and had to put up with this quality of product? Would you feel that it was worth the money you're being asked to pay for it, or the increase you're being asked to give, just because, through no fault of your own, the PSD that serves you was turned upside down financially? I'd like you all to think about that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Mark Myers. I'm not a resident of this county. I do business in this county. And the letter that I've given you, I'm sorry, the letter that I've given you, my name's Mark Myers. I'm not a resident of this county, but I do business in this county. The letter that I've given you will explain why the Public Service District needs the increase. When the dam was built, the PSD is responsible for the mitigation work because the dam was increased 10 feet in height to provide them a designated water source. They did not have this before. They didn't have any designation to the dam. After the dam reconstruction, they will have a designated water source. But in order to do that, they have to pay for the 10-foot increase in water level through mitigation credits. That's what they're being asked to do at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Would someone else like to come up?
Good afternoon. My name's Sean Lambert. I'm not born and raised in the Valley District area. I'm a transplant. I have two topics. We just heard about mitigation. Let's talk about that for a second. We have a water board that's one of the 5 public mitigations of a community. Okay? Their job as a water board is to provide water. Where's the mitigation where they had a backup plan in case that dam would have failed? Where's the responsibility for that? Now, the contractor, overdue. We've heard all this before. They should be responsible for the increase, not the people that are the customers.
no backup plan on the part of the board. That is on the board's fault. So therefore, if the board can't do their job, then they need to be replaced. Second thing, we got a letter at the fire department that said that not to use the hydrants because they were low in water. Now, how can you, not only are they sending out bad water to people, but now we can't protect somebody's property. Thank you.
Thank you.
To answer some questions.
Could you state your name again one more time?
Mark Myers. I was explaining to Mr. Seifel, he has one of these water containments on his property. Number one, it doesn't provide enough water as a public water source. So the Ruby Farm, Deckers 1, was chosen and brought to Preston County through federal funding and state funding that took over 3 years to secure. And it was to give the residents of PSD1 a permanent water source, not a temporary source that they had problems with last summer. The problems that you incurred last summer was through a temporary water source. This new water source is to provide you with a source of water for the future, of clean water drinking. But the dam was built on public or private land. If we would have had to get the land right from Mr. Seifel and 2 or 3 others to build a dam, we'd have been at $20, $25 million. We couldn't secure that kind of funding. It just didn't happen in this area. The money's not there.
We don't have 1 year. Wait, stop. Sir, we're not going to argue back and forth. Mr. Myers.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to address and argue back and forth here.
Okay.
Make your statements and we'll be done.
I
If you guys want to discuss it outside or whatever later or after the hearing, you're more than welcome to.
I have no control of what you had in the past. My job through the state and as your elected official is to see that you have a clean water source from today forward of public water. What you had in the past and what previous boards and previous accountants and whoever led you down the wrong street wasn't something that I was responsible for. That dam, before we started the rehab, you did not have water rights to it. You were not permitted under law to take your water out of that dam. Through this rehab, you now are allowed to take the water out of the dam. What I gave each one of these guys is a copy of a request of your PSD to pay for the mitigation, not to pay for the construction cost to add the 10 feet, but because you flooded extra wetland on private property, they now have to pay or buy green credits for wetland somewhere else to secure it permanently to where it can never be drained or flooded. I know you guys aren't hearing this. I think this is kind of backwards to do the comment and then do the hearing, but you guys should have had the hearing first so you could have heard some of the comments. But some of what they're being asked for in the rate increase, which I've not seen, is for the money to pay for this mitigation. If this money is not put up under federal law and dam safety, they still are not allowed to take the water out of the dam until the mitigation credits are paid for and secured. The dam is 90% done. It will be finished as soon as dry weather comes. We were fortunate this winter. Winter shutdown should have started November 30th. We worked all winter long with no winter shutdown because we didn't have significant weather events to permanently shut us down under federal guidelines. And the dam was late and is slow in being built. The primary fault was the contractor, but anything you do in government requires a permit or permission. Those permits and permission that were being requested
took months upon months to secure. You just can't get in the water and play without the government's permission. And that just takes time. And I've been to meetings with the PSD, with Representative McKinley's office and others. They've tried to request this money from government officials. We on a state level cannot step in, cannot do anything. That's up to the PSD. The PSD has tried. If you guys want to secure money somewhere else to bring your water bills down, call Manchin, call Capito, call McKinley. But the PSD has to work within its guidelines. And within its guidelines to secure money, it has to do this. Now, I'm not for the PSD, and I'm not a friend of the PSD. And they can tell you we've butted heads quite a bit, and we're on a non-speaking term. But common sense has to prevail in this. If you want a clean water source from today forward, the mitigation has to get done. And I don't understand anything about it other than the fact that the PSD is asking for the rate increase for you to get your mitigation done so that you can have a permanent water source. Last summer, I would not have drank your water. On the construction site at the dam, we used Clinton District water. But I have no control in any of that. But those from here, my grandkids live in that area. My daughter and her family has to deal with the same water issues you guys are having. And it's terrible. But we need to stop complaining about yesterday. We need to remember yesterday and use it as a learning experience for the future. But we need to figure out a way to get this cart down the road so that we can get that permanent water source forever. Not just drawing it out of this stream or drawing it out of that stream. It would have been nice to bought that water from a different PSD, but PSD1 was not set up to do that. They did not have the infrastructure to get that water purchased. And if they don't do this mitigation, they still cannot draw water out of that pond or the dam without getting those designated water rights. And until the mitigation is done, nobody can draw water or the dam cannot raise its level. And I'm sorry I can't answer your questions. That's just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, once again, it's been wanting the customers to pay for the failure of whatever state the contractor that did that is at fault, when the PSD for incompetence or whatever. They still want the customers to pay, and that's not right. It should be the contractor and whomever is at fault, not the customers to pay for it, wherever the litigation that needs to be done.
Okay, if there's no one else, then we will, that will conclude the comment period portion of the hearing. We will move on into the evidentiary portion of the hearing, where the district and commission staff is going to present evidence and testimony.
Thank you.